Hey everybody, today we're going to focus on how to work with mixed numbers. So when we're working with mixed numbers, whether we're adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, the easiest way to do this is to turn them from mixed numbers into improper fractions. So if we take the mixed number and we turn it into an improper fraction, problems become a lot easier. Now this isn't the only way to do it, but it is one way. So if we want to turn 4 3/7 into an improper fraction, how do we do that? The first thing we do, some of you might remember, is we multiply the whole number by the denominator in the fraction, so 4 times 7 is 28, and then we add that to the numerator. So 4 times 7 is 28, plus 3 is 31, so we end up with 31/7. So this improper fraction is equal to the mixed number 4 3/7. We can do the same thing right here. We multiply. 8 times 12 is 96, and then we add 7. 96 plus 7 is 103, so 12 7/8 is the same as 103/8. Once we start performing some operations with these numbers, we're going to have a few more steps to perform, but the first step can always be the same. We can always turn them into improper fractions. So our first fraction here, we got 3 times 5 is 15, plus 2 gives us 17, so that will give us 17/3, plus, and we'll do the same thing here, 5 times 2 is 10, plus 4 is 14/5. Now when we're adding fractions, remember we always need to have a common denominator. So here my denominator is 3, and my denominator over here is 5, so the common denominator, their least common multiple, is 15. So I can multiply 3 times 5 and 17 times 5. That's going to give me 85/15. And my second fraction, I can multiply 5 times 3 and 14 times 3. 5 times 3 is 15, and 14 times 3 is 42. Now that I have the same denominators, all I have to do is leave that denominator alone and add the numerators. 85 plus 42 is 127. Now in algebra, we don't always have to write our answers as mixed numbers. Sometimes improper fractions are going to be a lot easier to work with. So we're going to leave this as an improper fraction. We do want to try to simplify it. Now, I notice our denominator is 15. I know 3 and 5 go into 15, but they don't go into 127. So we are actually fine with this answer right here. That is as simple as it gets. Subtraction problems are going to be very similar. The only difference will be the operation we do at the end. So the first step will be to rewrite these fractions, or these mixed numbers, as improper fractions. Our first one will be 82/9 minus 13/2. Now we're going to have to find a common denominator here. This is going to be kind of tricky. We got 9 and 2, and I know those both go into 18, so I'll do 9 times 2 and 82 times 2. That will be 164/18, and 2 times 9 will give us 18 down here, so we'll have to do 13 times 9, and I know 10 times 9 is 90, 3 times 9 is 27, so that'll be 117 for our numerator. And then we just have to subtract those, so 164 minus 117, that's 7, that'll give us 4, so 47/18 is our answer, and again, we cannot simplify that. Alright, let's try a multiplication problem. Here we got 3 4/5 times 2 1/3. So we'll do the same step first. Our improper fraction here is going to be 19/5, and our second improper fraction is going to be 7/3. Now when we multiply fractions, we just multiply straight across. So I'll do my denominator first because that looks easy. 5 times 3 is 15, and 19 times 7, 10 times 7 is 70, 9 times 7 is 63. If I put those together, I get 133. Now, I don't think I can divide any of those by the same number, So we have our simplest form here, the simplest form of our answer. It doesn't look that simple, but that is as simple as it gets. And for our final problem, let's wrap up with some division. We got 1 5/6. So we'll convert that to an improper fraction. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 5 is 11 over 6, divided by 5 times 3 is 15, plus 1 is 16 over 5. Now remember, when we divide fractions, we actually want to change this to a multiplication problem. So 11 over 6, and that division becomes multiplication, and we take the reciprocal of our second fraction. So the reciprocal is what you get when you flip the numerator and denominator. So instead of dividing by 16 fifths, we're going to multiply by 5 sixteenths. And when we multiply straight across, we get 55 over 6 times 16 is going to give us 96. And once again, we can't really do any simplifying here, so that is our final answer.